Well, good morning from here in London, but it's good evening from Taipei. And today we are absolutely delighted to be hosting guests from Taiwan to talk about From Vision to Action, Taiwan's Sustainable Finance Transformation. And we'll come on to our guests in just a moment. But first, a word of thanks. It's interesting to start with a word of thanks, but we have to thank our sponsors who allow FS Club to range widely and freely across topics to do with science and technology, economics, and finance. Future scenarios, as I like to call FS Club. And we thank you profusely for allowing us to be here today, and including, of course, one of our sponsors, which is in fact TABF. Uh, the program for today is one that's familiar to FS Club members. Firstly, I'm here to get out of the way as quickly as possible so that you can hear from our experts. But next slide will show you the sort of timings. It's a slightly longer webinar today. We'll probably go on for about 59 minutes because we've got some extra guests. But there's still, as ever, plenty of time for questions and answers after our speakers have presented. As we turn, of course, to the subject matter today, one of the biggest things about it is, of course, Taiwan's huge surgence in the green finance area. It's been an amazing thing to watch Taiwan's extremely fast growth in this sector. And our guests today will explain to us how they've achieved so much in such a short space of time. So, to our guests, if I may, we have first off Brenda Hugh, who is coming at this very much from the financial supervisory position, Dr. Chiawei Wong, who is going to look at this from an academic, although he has a deeper background, but an academic perspective. And then we're delighted to have Cathay United Bank, represented by Alice Chuang, and Phoebe Lee from CTBC. So we'll actually see the industry point of view. So I think this is an extraordinarily balanced panel, allowing us to see how this wonderful island, which I've had the pleasure of visiting, is doing so well in the space of green finance. So, with no more no more ado, as we say, may I please ask Brenda to give us a flavor of what it's like from the Financial Supervisory Commission. Brenda, the floor is yours.
Okay, good day, everyone. It's a great pleasure to share with you Taiwan's sustainable finance policies and market outlook. Next, I will walk you through four areas covering our national commitment, green and transition finance policies, disclosure requirements, and our ambition to be the regional sustainable finance hub. Next, first, our commitment. Over the past 6 months, we have seen global shifts in climate policy. The US withdrew from the Paris Agreement, and the EU slowed down parts of its CSRD implementation. At the same time, we have also seen climate-related disasters becoming more frequent and intense. In Taiwan, our government believes that the carbon reduction is the right thing to do, and we remain committed. At the beginning of this year, our President Lai announced Taiwan's raised national determined contributions that are by 2030, we will reduce 28% of our carbon emissions, 32% by 2032, and 38% by 2035, all compared to 2005 levels. These targets are aligned with Paris Agreement and demonstrate Taiwan's determination in global climate action. Next. To reach the 2050 net zero goal, our government agencies, local governments, and private organizations are all stepping up. Whether it's building, transportation, industry, electricity, or agriculture, we have set yearly targets to keep us on track. Next. As to green finance, let me first explain our Commission's role in this effort. In many countries, green finance typically involves public and private capital flowing into green industries. In Taiwan, since our Commission regulates financial institutions, we focus on how private capital, such as funding from banks, insurers, and asset managers, are mobilized toward corporates and projects that pursue sustainability. We also oversee listed companies' disclosure behaviors, which give us additional leverage in promoting transparency and sustainable practices. So if you take a look at the bottom left, you will find that we have a green finance action plans to encourage financial institutions, lending, investment, product innovation, and client engagement strategies aimed at reducing carbon emissions and supporting sustainable development. At the bottom right, we rolled out Sustainable Development Guide Map and action plan to require listed companies to disclose information of their ESG practices and incentivize them to drive positive changes throughout their supply chains. Next, we often get a question on what's the difference between green finance and transition finance. Let me break it down. Shifting from a brown or high carbon energy intensive economy to a green one with clean energy, sustainable factories, green transportation, and circular resources use takes time. During this shift or transformation, some companies might emit more carbon when they upgrade producing processes, experiment with new materials or technology, or switch energy sources. We encourage financial institutions not to pull out their capital too soon from companies that aren't yet fully green. Instead, we urge them to stay engaged, support those companies with concrete science-based carbon reduction goals, and help them throughout their transformation. That's what we mean by transition finance, funding the path to a greener future. Next. And that's why in October last year, we launched our Green and Transition Finance Action Plan. The plan has two core strategies. First, integrate resources across sectors and use the financial sector's influence to help companies decarbonize. And second, give financial institutions more tools and capacity so that they can exert their influence more effectively. Next. Today, I will focus on capital-related part of the plan. Let's begin with how capital is supporting companies in their net zero transition. Next. We have rolled out a broad range of green and sustainable financial instruments, including loans, investments, bonds, ESG-focused funds, and indices. As of the end of June this year, the total volume of these instruments is already significant. I listed those numbers for your reference. Looking ahead, we expect the green and sustainable lending and investment to exceed $207 billion by 2030. Next, I'd like to introduce the second version of Taiwan's taxonomy, which was updated in December last year. Next. We took inspiration from the EU's taxonomy with the goal of helping companies and financial institutions assess whether a company's economic activities are both favorable and harmless. By favorable, we mean activities that make a meaningful contribution to environmental goals. That's the first condition. We have established the technical screening criteria across different sectors. And when a company's activities meet these criteria, they are considered environmentally beneficial. By harmless, we mean activities that do not cause significant harm to the environment or social protections. Those are the second and third conditions. For example, even if a company reduces carbon emissions, it should also avoid polluting water, damaging biodiversity, or endanger workers. Only then can we say the company's economic activities are truly sustainable. If a company meets all the three conditions, we encourage it to disclose its self-assessment and we encourage financial institutions to offer it green financing. If a company doesn't meet any of the conditions, we encourage financial institutions to stay engaged and support it throughout the transition. We persuade and guide the company to develop a transition plan that clearly outlines its carbon reduction targets, planned improvements, funding needs, and the processes for evaluation and governance. Our commission has published the suggested elements in a transition plan last year to help companies prepare transition plans. If a company neither meets the conditions nor shows a willingness to transition, we expect financial institutions to reassess their financing decisions. While the taxonomy is currently voluntary, we plan to gradually strengthen its implementation over time. Next. Now we turn to policies toward listed companies. The FSC also promotes carbon inventory disclosures for listed companies. Let me share with you two main points. The first one is we take a gradual approach to the disclosure scope and the timeline. Starting from this year, all listed companies are required to publish sustainability reports. Key industries must undergo third-party assurance. In addition to that, companies will gradually be required to disclose Scope 1 and Scope 2 greenhouse gas emissions in their annual reports, and these figures must be assured. Our plan is that by 2027, all listed companies have to disclose carbon inventories, and by 2029, their carbon inventory disclosures have to be assured. The second one is we align with global standards to ensure data quality and comparability. As the bottom side you can see, for the sustainability reports, we follow GRI, SASB standards, TCFD recommendations. And for emission data, we follow Greenhouse Gas Protocol or ISO 14064-1. And starting from next year, we will face in adoption of IFRS S1 and S2 for sustainability disclosure. For financial institutions, we encourage them to use PCAF methodology to disclose financed emissions and use science-based target initiatives framework to set climate targets. Next. Our efforts in sustainability disclosure have gained strong recognitions. In a report published in October 2023, the OECD noted that 91% of Taiwan's listed companies by their market cap publish sustainability reports, and 84% of those reports are verified by third-party assurance, the highest rates among 13 Asian economies. The Asian Corporate Governance Associations also recognized Taiwan as an early adopter of sustainability assurance, with some of the highest standards in the Asia-Pacific region. These acknowledgments highlight that Taiwan's sustainability disclosures are both credible and trustworthy, and they show that our strategy of using transparency to drive sustainability is delivering real results. Next. Let me now share with you some of our key strategic initiatives in the pipeline for advancing sustainable financing in Taiwan. First, launching Taiwan ETS. Starting from this year, the Ministry of Environment begins collect the carbon fee officially. Starting from next year, we will try to launch a pilot for the TWETS. And between 2027 and 2028, the ministry will introduce supporting regulations and formally launch the TWETS. To help achieve this goal, the Taiwan Carbon Solution Exchange signed an MOU with the European Energy Exchange in June this year, focusing on platform development, training, and technology as well as knowledge sharing. Our commission takes the role of helping and supervising the exchange trading. Second, we are trying to scale up our green financial instruments. Our commission will enable central and local governments to issue sustainability bonds aligned with Taiwan's sustainable taxonomy, directing capital into national infrastructure. We will also broaden insurance industry investments into public infrastructure and domestic private equity. We are now creating a green securities certification mechanism in line with global best practices. And the third one, positioning Taiwan as a regional hub for sustainable finance. Our government is actively promoting Taiwan as an asset management center in Asia, with green finance as one of its key pillars. Taiwan's central role in global supply chains, combined with its leadership in ESG disclosure, makes it a compelling destination for international sustainable capital, particularly for investors seeking credible, forward-looking ESG opportunities. Taiwanese companies and financial institutions are widely recognized for their strong ESG performance, and we are well positioned to take a greater leadership role in advancing sustainable finance across the region. Next. Let me close with this. The path to net zero and sustainable development is no longer a choice. Next, please. It's a necessity, and there's no turning back. Taiwan is raising its climate ambition, advancing bold sustainability policies, and putting in place a strong ESG legal and disclosure framework that aligns with global standards. Taiwan is not just keeping pace. We are helping to shape the future of sustainable finance in the region. We have laid a solid foundation, and now we invite international investors to join us. Together, we can position Taiwan as a leading hub for green and transition financing in Asia and accelerate the journey toward a more sustainable, resilient future for our planet and future generations. Thank you for your time, and I wish you a productive and inspiring day. Thank you.
Brenda, that was fantastic. You've achieved so much. What a wide range, and pulling it all together is phenomenal. Of course, that leads to the skills that need to be developed as well. And so I'm delighted to hand over now to Dr. Chia-Wei Wang. Dr. Wang is the Chief Research Fellow at the Taiwan Academy of Banking and Finance and also an assistant professor in the Department of Economics at Fujian Catholic University. Dr. Wang, over to you.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Joey Wang, a senior research fellow of Taiwan Academy of Banking and Finance (TABF). I'm very happy to give a talk today. Today I just would like to share a little bit of my personal research funding and what we are doing for the sustainable finance training. Next, please. Next. Of course, as we know, climate change is becoming a more serious issue. So that's pushed many companies to take action and work toward reducing carbon emissions. This shift, of course, has also driven up the demand for green talent, and sure, the financial industry is no exception. Actually, research from many organizations or companies, like, for example, LinkedIn's report shows that the global demand for green talent has been growing up around 12% every single year. The WEF report even pointed out the demand for green talent tends to be less affected by economic ups and downs. Next, please. Okay, so in Taiwan, the financial sector is showing a very strong growing demand for professionals in green finance. A survey by BCSD Taiwan revealed that many financial institutions in Taiwan expected a platform that could help strengthen expertise in sustainable finance and even raise awareness among students in universities and colleges. In addition to that, a study by TABF showed that among all the training programs most desired by financial institutions in Taiwan, green and sustainable finance was just ranking second, just right after fintech. This means that Taiwan's financial sector not only needs more green finance talent, but also is eager to enhance related training and development. Next, please. But a major challenge in training green finance professionals is that sustainability is a concept which everyone agrees with that. Everyone says they care about the planet, they care about the environment, but the real question is, how do we take that mindset, okay, and actually connect it with the financial practice? When you look at the trending in sustainable finance compared to the hot trending topics, for example, fintech or risk management, the gap becomes very obvious. With fintech, the target is super clear. It's all about helping financial institutions go digital. For example, using AI for wealth management, perhaps the hottest issue right now. What about risk management? It's also very clear. Risk management training has a very clear structure with specific categories like credit risk, operational risk, and market risk. So its goal is just to reduce the impact as much as possible. But sustainability, that's where things get a little bit tricky. Who should take these courses? What should they learn? And how do we build a course around it? Actually, these questions continue to challenge many training institutions, of course, including TABF. Next, please. So to address this issue, TABF came up with 4 basic principles, as you can see them on the slide. First, everyone in the training should really understand what sustainable finance is, not just have a very vague idea. Second, the training needs to have a very clear structure, not just random topics. Third, the courses should be designed based on real practical needs from the financial sector. So finally, the goal is to train a lot of professionals, not just in quantity. We also want the quality. So next, please. Okay, so TABF tried to make sustainable finance training more practical. We built a 4-level framework. Okay, it's just like a tree. You can see it on the slide. At the best, we start with the general public and entry-level employees, especially those without a financial background. Okay, for them, TABF offers a basic certifications that gives people the right understanding of sustainable finance and why it matters. The goal here is just to raise awareness and make sure people have a solid understanding. The second level is meant for people already working in finance. This level offers an intermediate certification which focuses on how sustainability can be integrated into real financial work like credit assessment and investment practice. Then there is a third level. This is one more specialized. Okay, it includes targeted training on specific topics, for example, climate risk management, greenhouse gas accounting, or project financing for renewable energy, for example, offshore wind power or PV solar. These courses often include the real case studies. Okay. And at the very top level, that's for board members and the senior managers. Usually through the corporate governance training, they are introduced to the latest sustainability trends and strategies. The idea is to build ESG awareness at the leadership level. So sustainability is embedded into the company from top down. Okay, so next. In the past 2 years, actually, TABF really concentrated on this job, the Sustainable Finance Certificates. Actually, it is one of the biggest pieces in developing real sustainable finance talent in Taiwan. The idea is quite simple. Turn the abstract concept of sustainability into something practical, something we can actually train people for. And the certification comes into two levels, basic and intermediate. Okay, for the basic certificate, this is open to everyone, even if you don't work in finance. You can either take an exam or go through a 12-hour course and pass a short quiz at the end. It's pretty fundamental, covering basic concept of ESG, global trends, Taiwan's local regulations, and the green business models. Okay. Then the intermediate certificate is more targeted. It's for professionals already working in the financial industry. The trend gets more tailored. Different roles have different learning paths. The TABF designed different learning paths based on what you are doing. That is, you can see them on the right-hand side on the slide. There are three main job functions they can focus on: business development, risk management, RM, and information disclosure. And to support those job functions, there are 5 training modules: lending, investment, and insurance products, greenhouse gas management, risk management, information disclosure, and sustainable supervision and governance. For example, let's say your goal is to get certified in business development of sustainable finance. So you need to complete the 3 modules: products, disclosure, and the supervision and the governance. That's totally 39 hours. Well, a little 39 hours, you know. And yes, you will have to pass the post-course exams as well. Okay, next. Thanks to the very strong support from both the authority, the Financial Supervisory Commission, and all financial institutions in Taiwan, the sustainable finance certificates have made a very solid progress and great results. Since this program officially launched in April 2024, we've already seen over 30,000 people either pass the exam or completed the 12-hour course. That's a huge number in such a short time. And even the more challenging intermediate certificate, which takes a lot of more time and effort, has already been earned by hundreds of professionals. Next, please. Okay, but to be honest, the TABF is not just a training center. We also see ourselves as a bridge or a communication platform between the financial sector and the real economy. Through training programs, we try to bring both sides together and close the information gap. Information gap between finance and the industry has always been a major challenge, especially when it comes to sustainable finance. For example, lots of banks are interested in financing renewable energy projects, but the truth is that not every bank knows how to assess a renewable energy project. That's exactly why training institutions like TABF are so important. We can help by providing courses and seminars where we invite, for example, energy experts to explain the key issues, share experience, and answer questions. But It's not one way. These events are also a chance for financial institutions just to explain what they need, what they concern, like what kind of information or documents are helpful when applying for financing. So, in other words, we try to create a two-way platform where finance and the industry can talk to each other and share knowledge. Okay. And this platform is not just for Taiwan. We very welcome collaboration with partners from around the world. So if you are interested in connecting more closely with Taiwan's financial sector, we are happy to help. TABF is just here to support a very strong connections between Taiwan and the global financial market. Okay, so thank you. That's just my presentation today. Thank you so much for your listening. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wong. It is truly impressive. 33,000 in 1 year. I'm very impressed. And you've therefore answered. We had a question from Bob McDowell, who's dialing in from the Channel Islands. What is the depth and breadth of the local skills market available? And so you've really given us a very straightforward answer to that. So thank you very much. Now we turn to Alice Chuang for an industry point of view. Alex is an executive vice president of Cathay United Bank, which is one of the largest financial institutions in Taiwan. But Alice also has a background working across Southeast Asia with particular expertise in Cambodia. So Alice, the floor is very much yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Professor, and all distinguished participants. It is a great honor to be here. Thanks to Zian and the TABF. Today, I will share Cathay United Bank's sustainability journey and our strategies. Here is our agenda. We will talk about how we plan and our role to drive sustainability and the climate finance solutions in order to establish sustainable ecosystem to support companies move toward net zero transition. As you can see through engagement, we will share the idea that how important it is that companies should be aware of and respond to climate risk. And second, by offering green financial products and service, we can better support our clients to transit into net zero and still make money. Meanwhile, disclosure improves transparency and comparability of information, providing a stronger foundation for decision making. At the CUB, when it comes to tackling climate change, our strategy focuses on two key areas: environmental sustainability and a low carbon economy. And we will focus on the low carbon economy today. CUB has clearly committed to a zero coal financing goal since 2019. We aim to completely phase out all coal-related credit exposure by the end of the first quarter 2027. We also have set ambitious targets for growing our sustainable lending portfolio, aiming to surpass 100 billion NT dollars in outstanding sustainable loans by 2030. Also, we have integrated ESG factors into our credit and investment assessments. That means we no longer look only at a company's financials. We also consider how they perform in ESG areas when deciding whether to provide financing. Being one of DCBs in Taiwan, we actively engage with companies through forums, workshops, and one-on-one meetings to broaden our impact and better adapt into international framework. We have joined several global climate initiatives, such as RE100, and SBTI for ambitious goals. Moreover, CUB is the first bank in Taiwan to sign the EP and to adopt the PRB. In addition, CUB is the first financial institution in Asia to collaborate with CDP to support MM and SME clients getting CDP scores, assist the clients in achieving greater visibility in global sustainable supply chain. To accompany our clients with different size, different industry, and a different stage of net zero transition journey, CUB has launched Cathay One, a one-stop platform. Through Cathay One, it covers a wide range of ESG services, including carbon footprint verification, emission reduction technologies, ESG disclosure support, third-party assurance, and sustainability consulting. By tailoring green financial solutions to meet specific client needs, initiatives not only support business in their transition, but also help CUB to achieve our sustainable finance target, including green loan, social loan, and sustainability-linked loan. Here are the details of green products and services for your reference. Apart from general green products as green loan, SLL, and green bond, we also provide trust services for carbon credit prices and integrated settlement mechanisms to enhance the domestic carbon credit trading system. Here are some cases demonstrating our impact. First, to support SMEs, we launched the Sustainable Finance Partner Program, which combines SLL with our digital payment platform. It encourages SMEs to save energy and water. We also provide a social loan to support NPO by matching them with donors and resources, promoting circular use and creating social value by helping those in need. Overseas, our branch in Vietnam completed a green loan club deal in first quarter this year. The funds will go toward improving local water resources and upgrading infrastructure, helping enhance water quality for local residents. Here you can see, to support Taiwanese carbon-free ecosystem, CUB serves as the sole clearing bank for Taiwan carbon exchange, offering integrated settlement services. We launched a carbon credit transaction trust to help companies participate in international carbon projects with greater security and credibility. Carbon credits are not just about offsetting, they are a powerful way to direct capital into real climate action. That's why CUB continues using our financial expertise to help businesses decarbonize and move confidently toward a net zero future. In early 2025, we co-hosted two industry engagement forums with the FSC, focusing on the petrochemical and aviation industry. These sessions brought together over 130 participants from government, industry, and infrastructure to explore key transition topics, from energy use and supply chain collaboration to sustainable fuels and green airport development. Last but not least, driving net zero transition is not something one institution can do alone. That's why we work with partners from different fields. For example, we signed an MOU with the Metal Industries R&D Center to assist companies with carbon assurance and diagnostics and support them for further decarbonization actions. To summarize my speech today, we believe finance is more than numbers. It is a force for transition. By combining financial innovation with deep industry engagement, we support businesses move toward net zero. Through trust and collaboration, we aim to be a long-term partner in building a sustainable future. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Alice. That was, again, I'm extremely impressed with how much has been achieved, both in the governmental sector, actually training up the workforce, and hearing very practically from you. And we now turn to Phoebe Lee from CTBC Bank. Of course, many of us still remember that as China Trust Commercial Bank, but I love the new branding. So, Phoebe, over to you. What's happening there on resilience and determination in advancing green finance?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I am working in CTBC Bank and responsible for the structural finance, such as project financing or financial advisory services, which is a deal basis. So today I would take a real project of banking practices for sustainable transformation to share with you. Okay, page 1, please. Next, please, page 1. Yes, thank you. As Taiwan's most international bank, CTBC is a pioneer at promoting green finance in line with global standards and initiatives. It's the first financial institution in Taiwan to join the Partnership for Carbon Accounting Financials, the Global Impact Investing Network, and the Task Force on Nature-related Financial Disclosure. We also joined the Coalition of Movers and Shakers on Sustainable Finance, which is called by FSC. As the first chairman, CTBC has also been included in the DJSI for many years. We all know that promoting sustainability isn't just about talking the talk, it's about walking the walk. Taiwan, as the major hub of the global semiconductor industry, places significant important role on the ESG development of the industrial supply chain. To help more companies achieve net zero emissions, CTBC Bank and Taiwan Lifer actively participate in sustainable transformation related investment and providing full scope of financial services, including solar power, wind power, energy storage, waste to energy, green supply chain financing, sustainability linked loans, green or sustainability bonds. CTBC Bank's financial advisory services are like a Swiss Army knife, offering everything from renewable energy project financing and equity M&A to corporate power purchase agreements. Besides, for retail customers, we also offer a wide range of ESG investment products, such as ESG funds, ETF, and a green transport credit card. By this chance, I would like to take the development of offshore wind in Taiwan as an example to share practical experience with you. Next page, please. Taiwan possesses abundant wind resources and clear renewable energy policy goals, attracting international investors and ECA to invest in Taiwan. Offshore wind power has developed from round 1, demonstration incentives, to the round 2, potential sites, and is currently in the round 3, block development. CTBC has participated in the entire process of Taiwan's offshore wind power development. Next page, please. There are 3 learning stages for us. First stage is our exploration period. In 2017, CTBC Bank entered offshore wind power project financing. For Taiwanese banks at that time, offshore wind power was a novel financing structure with comprehensive risk assessment perspectives. During the exploration period, we learned from foreign banks' European wind farm experience and began participating in Taiwan's wind farm financing as a quick learner, taking the first step from 0 to 1. At that moment, 2/3 of total lending amount was from international banks. Second stage. As a pioneer, CTBC bravely accepted challenges. In 2018, we actively sought to serve as the local financial advisor for offshore wind farm. Unlike being a lender, financial advisors get involved early in project planning, including coordination with ECA guarantee structures, selecting wind farm investors, finding corporate power purchasers, negotiating terms, and forming banking syndicates. CTBC accumulated professional expertise as a financial advisor, becoming a market leader and leading more Taiwanese partners to participate in projects. However, Taiwan's offshore wind power development was not always smooth. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 delayed multiple wind farm construction schedules, increased costs, and even led one wind farm to encounter close to bankruptcy restructuring. Banks' financing intentions were reshuffled, making financing for subsequent wind farms more challenging. Even so, this lesson learned provided us with a better understanding of risks. Going to third stage, to address the country or industry exposure limits and the geopolitical issues faced by foreign lenders, CTBC Bank, as a local financial advisor, facilitated the first incorporation of the National Credit Guarantee Administration, creating Taiwan ECA from scratch. This successfully brought all state-owned banks into offshore wind power financing, forming a strong green national team. In current 2 projects by the well-known international developers of Ørsted and CIP, local banks' subscription amounts exceeded 2/3, achieving the best results in history. Beyond financing, we also assisted domestic insurance companies in investing in wind farms and helped more local companies to sign corporate PPAs to obtain green electricity. To date, CTBC has served as the local financial advisor for 6 offshore wind farms, with cumulative offshore wind power project financing syndication amounts exceeding $22 billion and a cumulative installed capacity exceeding 4.8 gigawatts. We not only promote the development of Taiwan's offshore wind power, but also hope to lead Taiwan towards the next milestone of net zero sustainability, aligned with international standards. Thank you. This is my report today.
And thank you very much, Phoebe. Well, all 4 of you, what an impressive achievement. Honestly, I had no idea how much had gone on. And we've got a lot of questions out here from the audience, but I might start with a couple that we were talking about earlier. I think this is to you, Dr. Wong. Many financial centers institutions note that there's a shortage of skilled staff in green finance. How are you tackling that development of green finance talent. And I might add a little thing to that, in particular, uh, tying up your courses with international norms in that space.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you for your question. I think the answer is very clear. We just need to train as much people as many people as we can, and we so here I just try to summarize three key points we should concentrate on. First one, I think we got to really understand what financial institutions need, what kind of skills they are looking for, and what outcomes they expected from the training. At the same time, we still have to keep up with the latest trends in green finance. So we are able to always provide up-to-date training. Okay. Second point, I think we need to design uh, training programs that actually make sense for different roles. Different jobs in finance need different skill sets. For example, someone working on climate risk needs different training than someone designing financial products. Okay. Third point, we need to build platforms that bring different sectors together, as I mentioned in my slide, a bridge. Okay, actually, green finance touches everything: energy, climate, environment, and finance. Okay, so training institutions have to bring in experts from different sectors and turn the knowledge into something that financial professional can understand and actually use. Okay, okay. So that's the reason why TABF mission. Okay, not only teaching but also building a real connections, closing the knowledge gap of helping the financial sectors moving forward. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Wong. And I'd like to turn some people here at CN were very involved in the creation back in the 1990s of the European emissions trading scheme. We're aware that Taiwan is moving towards an emission trading scheme. I believe mainland China did one about just under 4 years ago. And you've recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the European Exchange. Brenda, how important do you think carbon pricing and trading is in managing the reduction in emissions?
Thank you, Michael, for the question. First of all, I'd like to mention that the responsibility of the carbon pricing policies and implementation lies primarily with Taiwan's Ministry of Environment, which also oversees the Taiwan's Carbon Solution Exchange. Our commission, the Financial Supervisory Commission, provides support and advice on these policies. And I think it's worth noting that Taiwan's carbon trading primary market, or you can say it's a allowance auction, might be relatively small because emissions sources are concentrated among a few major emitters. And developing a secondary carbon market takes time. So Taiwan is starting with a simpler carbon fee. Starting this year, Taiwan has begun to impose a carbon fee on emission sources that exceed 25,000 metric tons of carbon emissions with a rate of about $10, which is really relatively low compared to other countries. This means that some companies might prefer to simply pay the fee rather than invest in significant emission reduction measures or new technologies. So to facilitate domestic emissions reduction efforts, our Ministry of Environment plans to introduce this market-driven cap and trade system. So I think the benefit of the ETS at least has two fronts. The first one is that carbon pricing creates a market-based incentive for emission reduction. That means companies that can reduce emissions at a lower cost can sell their excess allowance, while companies facing higher reduction costs can purchase this allowance. This market mechanism helps achieve overall emission reduction more efficiently at a lower social cost. And the second one is a clear carbon pricing mechanism provides a price signal for businesses, guiding capital toward lower carbon or social or zero carbon technologies. So I guess that's the reason our Ministry of Environment will start a small scale pilot in July next year, and then we'll officially launch the ETS around 2027 or 2028.
Thank you so much. Bob McDowell points out that there's been some slowdown in appetite in the Western Hemisphere for green finance and transition finance over the last 7 or so months. And I'm curious, Alice, are you seeing that the customer demand, both commercial, corporate, and retail, is there?
Yes, thank you, Professor. We have seen that low carbon transition is no longer just a corporate issue. It's becoming a key concern for the next generation consumers. This is a major shift in the investment landscape. Even retail investors are starting to see ESG not just an responsibility, but as an opportunity. More and more customers are asking whether their money is going toward companies that are environmentally and socially responsible. At CUB, we have seen growing interest in ESG products. We currently offer over 50 ESG-themed mutual funds, allowing customers to pursue financial returns while supporting environmental and social goals. We have also launched a green retail lending product, including loans for green certified buildings, with better interest rates and more flexible repayment options. These products are becoming more accepted in the market, although they may not be mentioned yet. But the strength is clearly building, especially among younger generations who are showing stronger interest in ESG-related offerings. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Alice. And I guess a question for you, Phoebe. I mean, you've been looking at some of these larger projects. Which sectors of the economy are most challenging in terms of emission reduction, and what's your role there at the bank?
Yes. According to the UNEP Emissions Gap Report 2024, the power sector is the largest global carbon emitter, accounting for 26% of total emissions. CTBC, we have committed to reducing our finance emissions by 2035 under the SBTi. Among all sectors, the power sector has proven to be the most challenging, particularly in Southeast Asia, including Taiwan, where the energy transition continues to lag behind global expectations. As mentioned earlier, we are strongly committed to renewable energy and are actively working with conventional power producers, offering green loans and sustainability-linked financing to support their transition.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Phoebe. We've run out of time, sadly, and there are many questions here. As folks know, we will be passing all of these questions on to our panelists today, and they will be able to answer them directly via email. But just to give you a flavor, people are interested in, what are the opportunities of coming and working in Taiwan if you've got green skills? What's going on about taxation, any tax breaks? What do you think is being durable from it? What do you think you're doing that's different than in other countries? And how is this affecting exchange listing? So there's quite a bit of interest here, and we could clearly go on for some time. Um, if I may, just a quick thanks again to our sponsors for allowing us to range halfway across the world, which is the way we like it. It's one of the great things about the web these days. In terms of forthcoming events, we have on the 13th of August, Chaos and Complexity with Dr. David Rubens, and then some stuff on environmental data, continuing this theme in September, which we picked out. And the Global Financial Centers Index will be released at the end of September as well, number 38. But if I can, and I'm afraid one of the terrible things about this technology is the inability of people to give you the applause you deserve for what the four of you did. So I have brought here my Korean karmic clapper, and I will, on behalf of the audience, thank you so much for a really, really insightful thing, and sincere congratulations on the enormous amount of progress that you have made in Taiwan. We really appreciate you sharing your experiences with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.